This is going to be a difficult story to tell. Not a bad story. At least I don't think it is. Just a difficult one. And the reason why it's going to be difficult is because it's not going to be in chronological order. It will not follow the linear pattern of telling a story. It's going to jump all over the map. The reason for telling it that way is because it's the only way it can authentically be told. To give some perspective, I'll start with this book. The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. Like with most of his work, this 1929 classic is set in the post-Civil War South during Reconstruction and focuses on the fall and rapid decline of the old aristocracy. In this case, the once great Compson family, whose fall from grace is depicted in the maladjusted lives of the last generation of the Compson children. Self-destructive Quentin, promiscuous Caddy, malevolent Jason, and mentally disabled Benji. The complex characters, Faulkner's penchant for ignoring the typical chronological plot sequence, choosing instead to resort to twists and turns of time, and the multiple and often unreliable narrators, makes the book a challenging read. But what has always fascinated me about it is Faulkner's brilliant use of stream of consciousness, a narrative technique which attempts to put the reader in the mind of the character, the goal of which is to better understand their psychological, mental, and/or emotional state. Since the ordinary person's mind jumps from one event to another and does so in a non-linear or disorganized manner, stream of consciousness tries to capture this phenomenon, usually by free association, which is the mental process by which words or image may spontaneously suggest another without any apparent connection. This is not a story about Faulkner's Sound and the Fury. That story has already been told. This is a story about the importance of the stream of consciousness process as a tool for self-analysis and mind exploration in order to reveal insights, new ideas, nurture creativity, reduce stress, and enhance self-reflection. After the death of his father in 1896, Sigmund Freud, who was dealing with deep phobias and painful personal issues, decided to find answers by exploring his own consciousness. He would do this by free association, that is, letting his thoughts flow unrestrained while paying attention to everything that came to mind. Over time, the experiment proved to be a success. By 1905, he had developed his iceberg theory to describe the three levels of the mind. The theory is based on the premise that much like an iceberg, the majority of an individual's mind exists below the surface. The conscious, that is the visible top of the iceberg, the preconscious, resides underneath, and the unconscious, much further down beneath. Freud described the conscious mind as the present or current state of awareness. The preconscious or subconscious contains thoughts and feelings that are stored in memory and can easily be accessed and are brought to consciousness when needed. And then the unconscious mind, which according to Freud is the primary source of human behavior and the most obscure. It's that part of the psyche that contains suppressed memories, repressed data, including images, primitive desires, instincts, and impulses that are not allowed to enter the conscious mind. Freud posited that the unconscious has a much greater influence on our behavior, feelings, and judgments than we realize. In fact, the whole point of psychiatry is to tap into the unconscious using free association. Freud's findings will not only lay the foundation of psychoanalysis, but will also open a whole new frontier in literature, as literary greats like James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and of course William Faulkner will begin using the stream of consciousness narrative style to help readers better understand their characters' mental, emotional, and psychological state of mind. These images show the results or aftermath of a horrific car accident I was involved in while heading home from work. 2 people ended up in the hospital, and while I was fortunate enough to walk away unscathed, my Prius was not so lucky as it was destroyed beyond repairs. The sequences of events leading up to the accident can be summarized as thus. While trying to make a left turn onto Oakland Street, where I awaited at the stop sign, the driver of the SUV failed to yield the right of way to the oncoming white vehicle who was going at a high rated speed. This oversight led to them crashing into each other and both into me. Found to be at fault, the SUV driver will get the same failure to yield ticket I'd received 3 months earlier. When you come to terms with the fact that in the space of 3 months you've twice been involved in a 3-car collision, especially when after the second go-round 2 people end up in the hospital, you owe it to yourself, if not to others, to start asking some deep, probing existential questions and perhaps examine your own contributions to the misadventure. As to dismiss them as mere coincidences was far from satisfactory. Granted, the second accident wasn't my fault, but taking both occurrences in totality, I couldn't shake the unshakable feeling that things within me were amiss. So in the days and weeks preceding the accident, during my mental recuperation, I decided to incorporate stream of consciousness writing into my journaling, along with setting time aside for free association. And have to say the results, to my pleasant surprise, have been cathartic and emotionally liberating. To put it simply, I feel so much better.